have to. This is.
We have to do reels. We're making video. This is so amazing.
And look, the pink and green, it was all like.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I'm obviously wearing a Movie Pods Friends t-shirt.
That's right. That's right.
Pink.
Wow.
It's great.
Green face.
So
Mike,
great.
welcome to the show.
You could have done green face, Seth.
I almost did.
I was shocked. You didn't.
Yeah.
I have my hat. I have my hat hang. We actually have a witch hat hanging.
Really?
That we're just keeping up year round because I
There you
love
go.
it. It's over a painting, and Aunt's like, it's like interactive artwork. You could just
There you
stand
go.
under it and be like, my hat's floating.
Hey,
Anyway.
welcome to New Release Review, part of the Movie Friends podcast. My name is Seth.
Oh, I'm Michelle. Hi.
And today we're talking about Wicked Part 1, directed by John M. Chu. And today we're joined by our good friend, Mike. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Mike has shown up fully in costume as Elphaba. Sorry.
Elphaba.
Yes.
Elfie.
I was going to wear my Shrek mask, but I was like, oh, wrong green person. We're over with that. But I have to get use out of that. I bought that Shrek mask, I was trying to get as many use out of it as I can.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's not many uses for Shrek masks, but you never know. You never know. Hey, so if you're listening to this show for the first time, we will be discussing spoilers throughout this entire episode, but I have vowed myself to not share any spoilers for Wicked Part 2. So just keep that in mind.
Wait, how do you know spoilers for part 2?
Because the show, the musical.
Oh, see, I don't know anything. So
yeah, we're good. I know. I figured you did it. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Michelle, you fell asleep during Phantom of the Opera. I'm not expecting you to know much.
Okay, first off, I don't know how that sticks with like every other musical. It doesn't. But thank you so much for reminding me. Thank you.
And that's what I'm here for.
Yes, that is what you're here for.
My alter ego is the troll, also green.
The total Betty
green.
troll.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you just saw this.
I literally just got home like 40 minutes
Did you wear
ago.
green to the movie?
No, this was after. No. No. I was normal. I wasn't even wearing any, like
You didn't wear a hat or anything?
No, I didn't wear anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you go by yourself?
No, I went with a friend of mine.
Nice. And did they like it?
Yes, we both were like blown away from the start.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's merit. And now I feel like now I know what like you and Liz go through when you guys like podcast right after watching a show. Cause like my marination times like was the drive back. I was like,
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
I made notes, quickly made notes.
Yes. I have one single note, which I'll get to later, but I've done a lot of these new release episodes where I'm literally like, messaging the person, okay, I just left the theater. I'll be home in 30 minutes. Are you ready to go? And then, Michelle, you saw this earlier today.
Yeah, I got home at 6, after 6.
Wowee.
Yeah, so it's fresh.
It's fresh.
Very fresh.
When did you see it, Seth?
I was lucky enough to go Thursday night. I think maybe like a 7:30 showing. And I brought my oldest kid, who's 11, very musically talented and minded. And he said he gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh.
And then we listened to the Broadway soundtrack on the way home. And I went in with really, really low expectations because sometimes Hollywood remakes of Broadway shows can be quite lukewarm. I'm thinking in recent years, Dear Evan Hansen was an atrocious film. Cats, I find to be so horrible, and I love the music from Cats. I will regularly listen to the original Broadway recording of Cats and just love it. But yeah, so there was just something about Wicked leading up to it. I didn't watch any trailers because I knew I was going to see it, and yeah, but I was surprised. My one big note from this is that it just felt a little too long, but I can see, like, knowing where the story goes, if they follow the musical, I can see why maybe they wanted to flesh out some of the relationships. And yeah. But I was, oh my God, when they're in the forest releasing that animal, I was like, can we go? Can we hurry up here? Wowie zowie.
Wow. And me, who always, my note is always things are too long. I didn't feel that way at all. I was
I'm
like
glad.
fully drawn in and captivated the entire time, and did not feel like it was 2.5 hours long at all.
Good. Good. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Actually, my friend and I, we were talking because I was quickly probing him for like, I need help with notes. Like, I got a
Yeah, yeah.
podcast about this. Please, like, give me your thoughts. And he's like, he'd asked, like, he's like, could you have seen that be any shorter? And I was like, not really. So we're like, we kind of see why it was 2 parts. He's like, really, they probably could have cut maybe 20 minutes from it max.
Mhm.
But then we were saying like, well, they could have made like a 4 hour, like 3.5 hour
Yeah.
part 1 and 2 combined. Because everyone knows second acts are always shorter than the first
Yes.
act. And there's
Yes.
not much happens in the second. I mean, a lot of stuff happens, but it's not long.
Yeah.
So like, is that only going to be like an hour and a half? Or are they going to
Right.
try to flesh that out as well and make it 2 hours, 2.5? But
Yeah, I can't see them putting together a hour and a half after 2 hours and 40 minutes. So they'll probably do the same thing where some of the scenes and ideas are kind of just brought out a little bit more. And you can do so much more with,
yes.
camera angles than you can on stage. So something that is kind of just presented to you on stage can really be, 360 degrees examined. So I get it. And yeah, I don't want to like nitpick the movie apart because I really was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Well, episode over. My first question for you guys is Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba. How did you feel? What did you think?
Perfect. It was. I actually have that as a note written down here. Elphaba on the stage is an angry person from the start, but I find Cynthia's portrayal of it, she wasn't angry until the end. She kind of played it like more docile, like she was just kind of quiet, like removed from everyone, didn't like people, but she wasn't. You couldn't really feel her anger, and it was good for the movie though because you kind of want that build in the character. Like you don't want to kind of start from the jump. You kind of want to like build it as the movie progresses. So you kind of see her progress in that. And, you're with the camera, it's more intimate than the stage. So I thought it was a good job. Could I have seen anyone else do it? No. I am biased. I would like Leah, but
Sure.
could Leah have been a good Elphaba? I think Leah would have done Adina as Elphaba, whereas
Okay.
Cynthia, I feel like really made it her own. And we can parallel that with Ari, but I guess you'll ask about Ari later, so we'll put a pin on that till later. But Cynthia really kind of made it her own role, and it wasn't a carbon copy of Adina or like a little bit of Adina with her twist. It was kind of her own, and it was good. Excellent vocals. They were singing live the whole time, which is crazy.
Oh wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so this was like Les Mis. They actually, Ari and her both sang live.
Good, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So think like singing live while you're like harnessed in. Yeah.
Wow.
Live. Crazy talent.
So I missed the whole Wicked craze. I never saw the Broadway musical. I didn't know the story. Well, a little bit of the story, and I never listened to the soundtrack. So as far as I'm concerned, this is my Elphaba. I don't know Adina's
Okay.
Elphaba.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So I have nothing to go off of. But I thought she was incredible. And in fact, I cried early on in the film when she is singing. I don't know the music, but the song I think is like Wizard and Me or
The Wizard and I.
Mhm.
My
Yeah,
favorite
Wizard and
song.
I,
My
yeah.
favorite song.
Okay, and we see her finally like being recognized, and she's like skipping on the stones and the frogs are jumping, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's happening to me?" And I just started crying.
Yeah, the best song by her, I
Yeah,
think.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is I know like Defying Gravity, I knew that song, and actually this made me laugh. I don't know if it'll make anybody else laugh. When Popular started playing, I was like, "Oh, this is from Wicked?" No, I know I've heard that song before. I didn't know where it was from. So like Defying Gravity, no emotion came of me, but it was when she sung that Wizard and Me
The Wizard
song
and
that
I.
brought me like totally, yeah, brought me to tears.
Side note on the Wizard of I, the whole time I hear that, I just think of husband because I call him the Wizard. So
Oh,
I
that's
like the
funny.
Wizard and I.
Wizard and I is the title. Let me get this
Yes.
straight. Okay.
Yes.
Wizard and I.
The Wizard
Got
and
it.
I.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Seth, what'd you
You're
think?
welcome. You're welcome. I thought that she did great. We already mentioned, Idina Menzel, obviously, and Kristen Chenoweth, they originate these roles. Not to jump too far ahead, but I just had the biggest smile on my face the entire time they were in this movie. I had no idea that they were going to be in this. I didn't the thought never crossed my mind that there would be cameos in this.
Really?
Yeah, and I think in that same scene, the guy who's singing was the original Fiyero on Broadway, or he at least had played him at one point. I don't know his name, but I never saw Wicked on Broadway, but this came out in 2003, and I was dating my girlfriend in high school who was like massively into musical theater. And I used to really not like musical theater. I didn't like musicals. I didn't like any of that stuff. And just through like being saturated in it with her, because she was in all the high school plays, and I went to see some Broadway shows with her. She took me to see Rent, and I just cried through the whole second act and didn't know why. I literally didn't know who any of the people were because it was such a big cast. And there's no dialogue. Everything is just in song. So if you miss some lyrics, you really miss like key things. And I just like wept for, an hour. So Wicked, I was like kind of like around it, and I knew some of the songs. So obviously, Idina Menzel is amazing and wonderful, but this so I would say like kind of the same for you, Michelle. Like Cynthia kind of is like my first time seeing this full performance, and like Mike said, she's very sad and just kind of resigned and less angry. And when the anger comes out, there's a lot of betrayal there, obviously, because she's built up the wizard, and she thinks that she's doing something very kind by putting down her desire to not be green anymore in favor of assisting the animals. So not only has she built the wizard up, but now she's built up herself. And that sounds like I'm saying it is a bad thing, but it's not. Like, she's putting something else above her and realizing, oh my God, this thing that has become my high ideal in life is actually being perpetrated by the person who I put on a pedestal. So like these two things combine. And I think that's something that the movie could have done like a little bit better. The secondary storyline of the animals.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I would love to know in the musical, is it animals that?
Mhm.
Oh, it is. So, okay, they're coexisting. Because I asked Liz, and Liz couldn't remember specifically if it was okay.
Yeah.
Like the animal professor, the goat professor, and yeah.
I only just saw the musical for the first time in the summer.
Oh,
So I
okay.
hadn't seen it before. I didn't know. I didn't get the hype of Wicked. Like I knew Defying Gravity. I knew Popular, but I knew Popular from Ariana doing it with Mika, that singer Mika. She did like a version called Popular.
Yeah.
Right. It's like same like melody and everything.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew that song. And then I saw it in the stage production. I was like, okay, I still don't get the hype, like, but it's okay. Like, it's not one of my top 5 musicals.
Sure.
I mean, now I want to see it. I would love
Yeah.
to, like, everyone around me has seen it. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
okay. Like my sister and my mom are like, how have you not? And I was like, okay.
A lot of people
haven't
have
gotten
seen
there
it.
yet.
I think that this is I can't remember. I think that this is the second highest grossing Broadway show of all time now.
Oh, really?
Just behind The Lion King. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I believe
a
it.
lot of people have seen Wicked. But yeah, so like last note on Cynthia's Elphaba, when she does get into Defying Gravity, I think it's not the longest song in the world. Like if you listen to the original Broadway version, it really should maybe be a little bit bigger, and so they kind of draw it out with her like flying around. But her delivery of And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever going to bring me. Yeah. It's like so good. I wish that
Yeah.
I could just cut that into a little pill that I could take daily, because it's just like it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It has been fascinating. I saw some behind the scenes of the nails, like her nails were a big deal.
Mhm.
The wigs and also her ear prosthetics because Cynthia has so many piercings in her ears. She had ear prosthetics
Oh,
that she
interesting.
wore. Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't notice that at all. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande as Galinda and then Glinda.
GA is silent.
From the second the first song Ariana opened her mouth, goosebumps all over me. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Who is this?" That wasn't Ariana Grande we were watching. Like she wasn't. She was Glinda. She
Mhm.
embodied the character. Same with Cynthia. They both. You weren't watching them. You were watching Alphaba and Glinda. Like Ariana did amazing. I did not know she. I mean, I knew she's super talented. Like I've been a fan of Ari for a very long time, and like hearing her do musical theater stuff and the notes she can hit, but just her doing those like like that range, I was blown away and couldn't believe it. And I really like you can tell she did a lot of work on her voice because you couldn't hear her poppy um, sound come through. This was like strictly musical theater. She was perfect. Her comedic acting and timing, impeccable. Like, so, toss. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. Very
incredible.
good.
Like, couldn't see anyone else be that role. She was, and it's funny because she was a little bit like Kristen, but also not like it's kind of, she paid homage to her, but also made it her own Glinda. But you can tell at certain parts, I was like, oh, this is like a Kristen. She's like paying homage to Kristen. Like you
Definitely.
can kind of tell, but she still did, but then not. Like she did make it her own as well.
Yeah.
But phenomenal. Like better, like couldn't think of a better cast for those two roles.
Yeah, I was completely charmed with her. I mean, she is so funny, and I always enjoy when she hosts SNL. And every sketch she's in, she's just so funny, and of course her voice is amazing. And again, this is the only real, like, I know Kristen Chenoweth played her in the musical, but this is the Glinda that I know. So I loved her. Absolutely loved her so much.
Yeah, I was impressed with her again going in. It's like musical. What's the saying? Musicians want to act and actors want to play music, or I can't remember what it is, but I wasn't sure how well she'd be able to act, and this was a great performance as a character. So I've been thinking about it. This is like Paul Rubens doing Pee Wee Herman, right? Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman doesn't ever break outside of like those four walls. And so the range isn't like huge. Where Cynthia Erivo, yes, she's inhabiting this character, but she's acting. There's different responses. There's a wider range of colors that she can kind of paint with. And that's not to say anything bad. Like, we love characters from movies. We love full, um, like something that feels like it came out of like a bubblegum dispenser.
Mhm.
And I was impressed with her. The hair flipping was funny, and it did feel like she was doing Kristen Chenoweth, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. Like, I think that it works well in the movie, and yeah, I really liked it. So, forgetting all of the like original recordings and the show and anything like that, did you guys have a favorite number or sequence from this?
The Wizard and I was like my favorite. I think number. I liked it. It was perfect.
Yeah, that one for me for Alphaba. There's a couple, like, obviously popular, the whole, like, makeover montage. I thought
Mm-hmm.
Ariana was great in that, but I really do like when they're in the library and that was just
Dancing Through Life.
dancing
Yes.
through the choreography in that is
Yeah.
so fun. So fun.
Yeah.
And the moving wheels with the books, I thought that was great. What's
Yeah.
his name? I'm
Furo.
Firo.
okay. Yeah.
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 He was adorable. He was adorable. What about you, Seth?
I was into the beginning, No One Mourns the Wicked, where
Uh-huh.
obviously we're coming into this knowing the Wizard of Oz, right? And you know the Wicked Witch of the West as like evil, right? When we talked about Bride of Frankenstein, right? We talked about this female performance that's on screen for such a short amount of time, but has burned itself into the public psyche in such an amazing way. And the Wicked Witch of the West is the same exact thing. Like, Mike shows up on camera in a pointy hat and green skin. You don't think witch, you think that witch. You think
That's
the
right.
Wicked Witch of the West. And that's amazing to pull off. And so you go into Wicked, and just the extreme amounts that the Munchkins are celebrating her death, you're like, huh. There's something a little excessive about how they're celebrating her untimely demise. So I thought that was pretty impressive how right out the gate, without even really showing you any of the stuff that they're about to show you, which I didn't love a lot of the little kid stuff and her seeing her younger self as she's falling. I was like, I don't really need that to sympathize or empathize with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like that. And then, yeah, I guess I would just say Defying Gravity is probably my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly have a least favorite.
Share with the
Dude,
class.
yeah, share with the class. Do tell.
Look, I love Jeff Goldblum.
Mm.
Love him to death. My goodness. Yikes. Him doing A Sentimental Man, I just... I don't know.
I guess I
don't
kind
know.
of just
He
like...
was-
The,
yeah.
the
was
curtain
Jeff.
and the shadow and the moon and all that stuff, I liked that. I thought that was fun. The silhouette stuff has reminded me of the Adventures of Robin Hood. We've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they did it, but his voice just isn't there for that song, I don't think.
So I had closed my eyes during the movie because and just listened and let just listening, my sense of listen take over. When Glenda and Alpha were singing, talking, I didn't hear Ariana or Cynthia. I heard the characters, but when Jeff was singing, I heard Jeff. It wasn't the wizard, it was Jeff. And I know other people have said that too, because that's what my friend, he had said that before. He's like, apparently a lot of people are saying that it's Jeff. And then, so I closed my eyes and I was like, yeah, you can tell it was him. Like he was himself playing the wizard. I think personally Stanley Tucci would have been a good option for the wizard.
So okay, I know you now. I know you said you're not talking. You're not talking. You're not talking spoilers for the second part.
Yeah.
But I kind of do, because I kind of want to make predictions.
Well, I mean, you can
predictions
feel
could be
free.
made.
Feel free.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot confirm nor deny.
Yes.
Sure. All right. Well, what I was gonna say is the wizard. Does he have? Well, I guess you can't confirm or deny. Like, does he have more songs coming, or was this it? And then he was just cast to play this character because he doesn't have more singing to come, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Like, does he have such a big part? Because he's the father, I think. It's obvious. Elphaba's father. But
Why do you think that? Why are you saying it's obvious?
To me, it was just like obvious for him to come, and the way he was like, he just kept looking at her when he talked about how he always wanted a kid, and he treats the people of Oz like his kids, and so he felt like he was making a very big connection to her. So that is my prediction for that.
Sure.
Traveling, like, he just gives off the vibe. Also, he has no power, so he just like came around. We don't see his face when we see who is her mother hooked up with someone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm.
but is there more songs to come from him? I guess you guys don't know. They could do anything they want.
I cannot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It did. I don't know if it felt like it to you guys, but when Goldblum comes out, it felt like the movie kind of took it was like, okay, we're gonna pause now, and this is the Jeff Goldblum sequence, like,
Yeah.
and he's
Mhm.
he's talking differently from anyone else,
Yeah.
and I didn't necessarily hate it, but again, as someone who is sitting there like, let's go, can we please finish this movie? I was starting to get a little like, what are we doing here?
But isn't the wizard supposed to be someone who's not like, okay, they all like look up to him like he's like a god,
Mhm.
but he really isn't. And so I think Jeff can portray that type of character.
Yeah. Well, it's very, very different from the wizard that we get at the end of The Wizard of Oz. That
Yeah, I
guy
was
is like
trying to like
almost like bumbling and stumbling over his words, and he's very like,
right.
he's not as like flashy and like, hey, he's not like cool like Jeff Goldblum.
You think
He's very apologetic.
You think Jeff Goldblum's wizard was cool?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Like
didn't get
flashy,
that.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
But like gaudy. Like you're making up for what you don't have.
Yeah.
He thinks it's cool.
Right.
Yeah, he thinks it's cool. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Oh, I also really did like is it One Short Day?
Yeah. When they go
get
to
to
the Emerald
Oz.
City.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
I love.
Yeah. That was one of the first times in the movie where I was like, oh, I love like this set design. I love how now we're utilizing the camera to like move through crowds, and not that I hated everything before it, but I was like, it just felt like, wow, we're really opening it up a little bit more. Yeah.
I think what blew my mind, there's a special that's airing on Peacock. It aired last week, and I was watching it actually before we came to record. I was like, I have to see these sets. Like how practical are these sets? They built these cities.
Did they?
Yes. It's insane. The tulips that they planted, the like thousands of colorful tulips leading to Munchkinland. Like,
interesting.
Whoa. Yeah. And of course, visual effects were added in.
Yeah.
Layered, but like
the worst frog I've ever seen.
That's what you have to nitpick is the frog?
Yes.
The frog who jumps in, that little frog who sees her face and jumps in?
Atrocious frog. I don't know.
What?
Get a little froggy. You don't have a frog somewhere hanging around?
But but they want the frog to do what they want the frog to do. You need to.
So you put 100 frogs in a pond, you put a camera on it for an hour, you're gonna get that frog to do what you want, all right?
This is where we're gonna waste the time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Also, like every other animal, I'm pretty sure was CGI'd. So then we're gonna have a real frog. That wouldn't match the animal aesthetic.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have done so much CGI animals.
They should have got a real bear to take care of the baby.
And they should have had a real Professor Goat.
Yes. Wouldn't you want a Professor Goat? That would be kind of cool.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I'm all for the animals in this movie. Like, it made me real emotional to see those animals all gathering together and being like, we're about to be put in cages and silenced. I was like, oh, man.
Yep.
Did you catch at the start when the sign of the university fell and behind was the...
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, maybe I'm immature, but like, I just kept giggling at Shiz. I can't take it seriously. Shiz University? I guess I'm in. Okay,
I just think of it as like that. What do they call that fancy chair? A
chaise lounge.
Yeah, I think of it like that.
That's better.
I just thought of it like the Wiz, Shiz, Wiz.
I'm like, oh, that's the Shiz or Jizz.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't think of that at all.
All right.
The book
is just you.
On that tangent. The book is like very weird. Like it's very different and very weird, like sexual weird.
Yeah.
Like how sexual weird?
I think there's like bestiality. Like I think it's like bestiality. Like it's like and I think Alphaba. Now, see, I've never read the book, so don't quote me on this, but I think she is a hermaphrodite in the
okay.
in the book.
Interesting.
I think that's why that whole thing going around was like is her thing like is everything green? Remember that like whole like that thing that was
No.
going around?
Again,
Yeah.
missed everything of Wicked. So
There was a thing, but like, and then she's also like, I think bi in the book, like her like
oh,
her
okay.
and Glinda have like there's more to that
Oh, interesting.
friendship.
Oh, okay.
And the ending is completely different, like completely different. So from what I've seen in this movie, they're following the stage ending because there's like little things. I don't want to speak spoilers, but there's little things, Seth,
Yeah.
the ending.
But the ending, we already saw the ending.
What do you mean?
Because no.
It opens with like the hat and the witch, she's dead. And
Yeah.
it's because a little girl
Yeah.
dumped water on her.
Yeah.
All I can say is like,
and you know that reference, right, Michelle? You got where they were going with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
all I can say is like,
Well, now I'm like, do I?
what the story does is it doesn't change any of the events of the Wizard of Oz,
Right.
but it changes the intention and like
Yes.
what really
Yes.
happened and
Yes.
who really is who and
Yeah.
all this different stuff.
Because in the Wizard of Oz, the house that falls on the witch with her feet, right?
Mhm.
That's Alphaba's sister, right?
Yes.
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 And so that's Alphaba gets even more mad, I can assume,
Yeah.
because of
Mhm.
all, and then, you know, and just going back to the Wizard and I, because I know that, like I know that part, I was like, oh my God, Alphaba
Yeah. Oh yeah.
dies. Alphaba
Yeah.
dies, and I am a
Mhm.
wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very tragic. Yeah.
Unwell
Mhm.
at that in the beginning.
So I just want to go back to the goat professor, Dr. Dillamond.
Peter Dinklage, yes. Which
Yeah.
the whole time I'm like, who is this voice? Who is this voice? And then
Yeah.
when I looked it up, I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay, this is my number one problem with this movie by far. And that is, how long is Hollywood going to let Peter Dinklage get paid for doing the worst voices ever? Peter Dinklage in Wicked, absolutely terrible. Peter Dinklage in Avengers Infinity War, absolutely terrible. And then there's one more. What is it? Oh, Angry Birds. He plays like Mighty Eagle or something. He just Peter Dinklage doing these voice roles is like me doing the half-star reviews on Movie Friends. It's just a voice of like, and then he said, like, just let him talk as Peter Dinklage.
No.
Oh,
No.
I hate it so much. I hate it.
Do you feel the same? Am I missing it?
No, I don't know. Do we ever know what Seth is talking about?
No, like barely. I'm just using context clues to get through life with Seth. But like, no.
Just let him talk. Just let him talk in his normal
He was
voice.
talking.
Okay.
Peter Dinklage is a phenomenal actor. Amazing actor. Great comedic actor. Why are we paying him to be like, oh, hello, Alphaba. Oh,
Hey Seth,
I'm a goat.
what if Peter showed up to his audition and was like, I got a voice for this professor and this is what I want to do, and he did that, and they were like, yes, Peter, you can do that.
They should have said, no, can you just deliver it normal? Like, maybe just try one.
How?
Just your normal voice.
How do you think a goat is supposed to talk? That's how would a goat professor like? Do you expect them to like play with their goat beard and like have this like
no.
mystical?
I'm just saying, like, he doesn't need to put on a silly version of his own voice.
I mean, isn't it wild that I didn't even pick up on the silliness of it because I was like, I know that voice.
I didn't even clue in it was him.
I'm bringing a chip on my shoulder into
I didn't have a thing against animals because you're
Peter
complaining against the
Dinklage.
frog and you're complaining against the goat.
I'm the wizard in this. I side with him.
You would.
What a sinister moment though when the new professor comes in and he's like, this is a cage, and everyone's like writing down notes. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that poor little cub.
Pretty horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch? I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but did you guys catch all the references to Wizard of Oz, like the little Easter eggs that they had?
Um,
No.
I saw I saw some things. What did you catch?
What'd you guys
So
see besides
during
the yellow
pop,
brick road?
okay, which that's not in the play. Like
Mhm.
Glinda's saying, "Oh, make it yellow." Like that's not in the stage
Yeah.
thing at all. But the ruby slippers in Popular, Ariana like taps them together. She's sing that.
Uh-huh.
The basket and the bike with the cub is
Yeah.
obviously Dorothy
Mhm.
and Toto. The poppies, because in the Wizard of Oz,
Mhm.
don't they tell her to avoid the poppy field because it puts people to sleep? Because in
Yep.
the stage production, it's not poppy. Like in the class with the lion cub, the people don't fall asleep. They just go all. It's like the opening scene with Nessa Rose. People just kind of go everywhere. They don't fall asleep. So that was a different thing. So that I think was like an Easter egg to Wizard of Oz. These were the ones I caught.
I like that.
There's some things, but I can't say them because of what's coming in the next movie.
Yeah. There's like a lot of things there's like.
Well, just say it.
There's like foreshadowing.
No, because our listeners
we're not going
might
to.
not know.
Yeah,
A
we're
lot
not
of
going
people
to.
are coming to this.
Well, I mean, can you
movie
just
for
like
the first
bleep
time.
it out?
No.
It's only a year. You've only got to wait
Yeah.
a
Will
year.
you tell me off mic?
No, I will not
No.
spoil a
Okay,
movie
then I'm
for
gonna
you.
then I'm gonna Google it.
Look,
No,
you're
Michelle.
free to do whatever you want, but I will not be
This is
party
like.
to
Do you
spoil
want?
that
How
movie.
would you feel if Seth Googled season 3 of the OC?
I would murder Seth.
Okay. Well, thank
Okay,
you.
well, there you
There's
go.
no
So-
way y'all are that passionate about Wicked as I am with season 3 of the OC.
No.
But what I will
Not.
say is no. But what I will say is, I can guarantee you, with the information that you have right now, you cannot guess what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Truly. It's worth waiting. Like I'm not necessarily like a big Wicked lover. Like I'm not like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. But like there are developments that happen that I think are worth experiencing as they happen.
Yeah. There's like good twists. So you're like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I can't guarantee what my fingers will do, so
Okay.
I'll do my
right.
best. I'll do my
All right.
best.
I can't guarantee what my fingers will do. Okay. I was very happy to see Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible. She had such a great performance and like huge moment with Everything Everywhere All at Once a few years back. And it's just nice to see that she's continuing to work and that she's, starring in another like huge hit.
But we do hate her character.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She sucks.
Yeah. You're like, do I trust you or not? And no.
Yeah.
No. We
Yeah.
cannot trust you.
Yeah. Well, and there's this thing for a lot of the movie where you're like, are you even a witch? Can you even do anything?
Yeah, right.
Because it just seems like you're trying to get Alphaba to move this coin. Is this another wizard type of scenario where you're just pretending?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jonathan Bailey plays Fiero. How did you guys feel about him?
Good. He did good job. Good singing, good acting. Plays the brainless Fiero that he's supposed to be. So
I've been thinking.
Yeah. I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cute. I'm a fan. I
Mhm.
enjoyed him. Yeah. I liked what he brought to the table. Seth, what was your issues with him? Because I'm sure it's coming.
No, he's
Well,
not an
it's
animal, so
coming.
it was fine.
That's true.
Was it because the way he rode the horse? Is it his horse you didn't like at the start?
No, but I was hoping that his horse would be one of the a horse of a different color from Wizard of Oz. Like each time we'd see it again, it would be a different color. Didn't happen, but that's okay. Okay, so Shiz is a university. And apparently everyone who goes there for their first year is 35 years old.
I know, we're just supposed to like turn an eye on that, right?
Yeah. It's because in the stage productions, you can play older, like you can play up to 10 years older than, because, I know the movie, it's hard because you're right up there in HD. Everyone looks old, but that doesn't bother me. I just don't think about it.
I know, I actually, sometimes that bothers me, but in this, I just let everything go. I was like,
Well,
Come-
I think with like Cynthia and Ariana, it's like, okay, they look young, right? And especially Cynthia's covered in green paint, so it's kind of helping.
And
It's like,
Ariana
this is
looks
this
very
character.
young. She always
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
young, yeah.
So that's fine. And then you get like Bo and Yane kind of just slide in, and I'm like, I know that you are
Yeah.
older. And then you get Ethan Slater as Bach, and you're like, you're not really playing too young. But then when Jonathan Bailey shows up as Fiero and he's like, I've been kicked out of every school, or I'm like, I think that you graduated from every other university.
Is he supposed to be older than them? But he's in the same classes with them. Like, how does this work here? How's the
Right,
education
yeah.
system?
He gets
Yeah.
kicked out, so he's behind. you
Yeah, I
know?
think he plays older.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry if you're listening to this and you're like, Seth, shut up. That's not the point. I just
every time everyone listens to a Movie Friends thing, they
I'm
always
sure.
say, Seth, shut up. But, they're still here, Seth, so they keep coming back for more. I don't know.
That's right.
They're coming back for Seth, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that he was good and charming and personable, and yeah, I'm excited for what's coming.
Did you watch Bridgerton? He's from Bridgerton.
No,
Did you
I've never
guys
seen
watch that?
Bridgerton.
I watched the first season. Is he in the first season or second season? Sorry, Bridgerton people. Oh, Crashing. Mm-hmm.
Bridgerton and Animal people are really not going to like this episode,
I mean, I'm not dissing Bridgerton. I just don't know my facts.
Yeah.
What's
All
the deal? I think Michael might have the tea. What's the
Yeah.
tea with Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande?
I don't think they're dating anymore.
But they hooked up, right?
Yeah.
But they were both married.
Yes.
And he had a fresh baby.
Yes.
This is what I was told in the parking lot as I was leaving the movie theater today.
Yeah.
And
you didn't know this
way-
before? That's why a lot of people are torn on this movie. That's why a lot of people are torn with the seeing this movie with the Ariana thing, and then also with the Cynthia thing that happened with the fan poster.
What
Michelle probably has
happened?
no clue what you're talking about.
No, I have no clue.
Okay, so we'll briefly do this for those of you who don't. For everyone
Thank
else,
you.
you'll know this because you don't live under a rock, but Michelle does. So we'll explain.
There's so much.
I wonder if I
online.
went
So
Dumois. I'm sure Dumois. Did Dumois not talk about it?
everyone, yeah. The original. 1 second.
Okay.
He's gonna
Mike
get a
has
visual
left.
aid. He's gonna get a visual aid.
Mike is going to get his Ariana Grande binder.
Or with his Wicked post. There it is.
Here is the
Oh.
original poster. Okay.
I do
Yes.
know
That is
that. I do know
That's the
that.
original Broadway poster. So in the movie poster they released, the hat is up and you can see Cynthia's eyes. Ariana's hands lower,
Okay.
so you can see more of Ariana's face, and Cynthia's staring right down the barrel of the lens. Okay, and she's not wearing red lipstick.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see her eyes. So a fan photoshopped, moved the hat down, covered Cynthia's eyes, moved Aria's hand up, so made it more look like this.
Okay.
Then Cynthia commented on the fan and said that they're trying to erase her. The whole point of them doing that was they were paying homage. They weren't copying it. These are cartoons. These aren't real people. But the fan was like, I was literally just making it as the original art that we all love. And so she got fired up at the fan, and then the picture got taken down and stuff. But she wrote a huge blog, a huge post about it. And people are trying to erase me. This is my role. We're real people, and this stuff. So people were kind of okay, well now, and I guess she's might have been a little problematic before. I don't know. Don't quote me. But some people have said there's been issues with Cynthia on previous things. So people were well, with Cynthia and then the Ariana thing, people didn't want to see this movie because of that. So yeah, people
Got it.
There's different camps.
Yep.
So
yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty controversial.
Yeah.
This
the
movie.
press tour for Wicked has been it's been an interesting. There's been a lot of viral moments and clips from different interviews with the two of them.
They like each other. These
Yes.
two women
Oh,
are
yeah,
friends. Yes.
Yeah, they
Okay.
got matching tattoos.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, bunch of
All right.
stuff together.
Interesting. Wow, I really am under. I must be in like a shield that's just blocking all the wicked things from
Yeah,
me.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I
Yeah.
know. So I wish I didn't do this episode and I could just live in my wicked bliss.
Oh no.
Now your phone's listening to you, so you're gonna get
I
everything.
know. Well, I
Oh,
already
yeah.
started like Googling. I just want to see the set design. That's like what I'm most
Yeah.
interested in.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
costume and
glad that
makeup.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because another thing that I was kind of struggling with throughout the movie is like, how much of this is real? How much of this is just like kind of CGI slop? And I do think that there are parts of the movie that look really, really good. And I mean, just the most base thing is Cynthia in green makeup the whole time. Like,
Mhm.
if that's not done well, a lot of this falls apart. But I thought that it looked
Yeah.
as natural as green skin can look.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, some of the stuff I was like, I can't tell if this is practical or CGI, and I don't like that. I don't like that look. Like, if something is practical, I want to be able to tell. A lot has been said about how the movie is like backlit a lot. It looks like they're trying to use a lot of natural light, or they're at least trying to simulate natural light, which is weird because, like, especially for a stage play, there's no natural light. You have house lights. Nothing is natural about a stage, right? Everything is staged. So it was an interesting choice. I don't particularly like it, but I'm not going as far as saying like, oh, this looks absolutely horrible.
You're just saying the frog looked horrible.
Just the frog. Well, other things, but that frog was atrocious.
It was fine. I thought the sets were incredible. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I do too.
And so Alphaba is, I'll go a little stage talk here, but Alphaba is probably one of the most demanding roles in any production. And the thing is, like with Wicked, they have a standby who literally is like painted green in the theater the whole time, because if something happens, they have to go on like that. Like in Adina's second last show, she falls, like right at the end, she fell and couldn't go on. So normally the stand-in would have left by then, because they're like, oh, it's late enough, she's gonna finish.
Right.
But luckily the stand-in hadn't left that night. So the stand-in went on. And then the next night was Adina's last show, but she couldn't do it. So she like walks on at the end wearing like this red Adidas tracksuit and to like sing us. But that was it, because she couldn't do her last show. She broke her leg or something, or her ankle. Yeah. So yeah, so this is a very demanding role. It's a very like physical, like doing a lot of stunts, doing a lot of stuff, singing all the time. You're like pretty much always on stage. So yeah, so this has a stand-in role for that, for someone who's literally painted green waiting to go on.
That's crazy.
Wow. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, if you like Defying Gravity, try to find a video of the Broadway performance of it. It's awesome.
I'm just gonna go see it.
Yeah.
I don't want it spoiled for me. That I don't want it spoiled for me.
What?
So the thing that you've already seen.
Yeah.
No, I want to see. I know what happens, so I want to experience the Broadway musical firsthand. I don't need to know what that looks like.
Okay, all right.
The Adina and Kristen thing. So I knew they were going to be in it, because there was like videos of Adina being like, oh, I can't confirm I'm in it or not. And she was like, the way she's speaking, you're like, okay. And then Kelly Clarkson earlier this week spoiled it, because she had Kristen Chenoweth on, and she's like, saw the movie, I loved it. I can't confirm or deny that you and Adina are in it. And everyone's like, did she just spoil that? But IMDb lists Adina and Kristen in it. So if you looked up IMDb, but so the whole time we were like, like my friend and I were like, when are they going to be teachers? Like, who are they going to be? And so that part's added in, like that song explaining where the book came from. That's not in the stage. It's like a one throwaway line. But like, that was just, the whole time I was dying when they were on, because Kristen, so a little backstory, once again, for the stage production, this is Alphaba. Alphaba is the main character. She is the show. But because Adina and Kristen didn't get along at the start, because Kristen's too Kristen Chenoweth. So original, like this is Alphaba's show. So, but Kristen had made like such a big deal that now Glinda gets her own bow at Current Call. But like it should have just been Alphaba, but now Glinda gets her own. So the story, so I've been told. So when they were in there and like Kristen was like fighting over, they were both like fighting with who's like, that was funny. And then Adina doing the like the thing at the end of Defying Gravity. And I was like, oh, amazing. And then they like separate off, and then Glinda like slaps Ariana, or sorry, Glinda, Kristen like slaps Ariana's mouth closed.
Yeah.
And then like Kristen goes with Ariana and Adina goes with Alphaba, and they kind of like touch each other. And I'm just like, this is like a passing of torch. Like, it's perfect. How now, if I was the director, what I would do for the end, for the second part credit scene, I would play. So For Good is a song in the second. That's like almost the finale song. So I would have that playing with the credits, with the four of them singing it. And I would intertwine clips of Kristen and Dina singing it on Broadway. That's what I would do as a credit scene, to also put them in there. But them being in here, perfect. It was really good. I loved it. It was a nice surprise, even though I knew they were going to be in it, but I just didn't know where, and I thought they were placed perfectly.
Good idea. I agree. That would be a good credits.
Yeah, that's good. You hired.
Yeah. The Broadway is really bringing out the New York in Michelle's accent.
I can't help it.
Michelle, did you have any other?
No, not on Wicked. I wrote down other notes from the credits.
What do you mean?
What?
Well, in the previews, I'm like, why is this so loud? My previews were so loud. I thought I was gonna have I had like a sensory issue. I was like, I don't think I can sit here. And then I'm like, did Jim Carrey go method for the Sonic movie?
Oh, I didn't have that.
That's what I
We
wrote
didn't
down.
have that. We didn't have that preview.
He goes method for like all of his roles. So I'm like,
Yeah.
he decides to do the Sonic movie. Did he go method for that?
Right.
So again, nothing to do with Wicked.
Got it. Yeah, my one and only note.
Oh, I cannot.
Why are we paying Peter Dinklage to do these voices and accents? Just free him. Free him from these accents. Let him be himself.
I'm telling you, Peter showed up and was like, I want to do this.
Yeah. And they're like, you can do whatever you want. You're Peter. You're
That's
a goat.
right. That's right.
So Seth, how would you rank the green people? So we got Alphaba, Shrek, Jim Carrey as the Mask, Kermit. We can throw in Kermit the Frog.
Ooh, okay.
Absolutely.
Who else is green? Am I missing someone?
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Which is you.
Okay, so I would put Kermit at the top, which I feel like isn't fair because Kermit would be at the top. If you give me any top 10, that's actually a fun idea.
That is good. I like it.
Yeah. Just a random top 10 character list.
Yeah.
If Kermit's on there, he's going to be towards the top. So I would say Kermit, Alphaba, the Grinch, but only if it's the original cartoon version. And then and then Jim Carrey's The Mask, and then Shrek.
You're putting The Mask over Shrek?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm shocked by that a little bit, actually.
I'm Shreked by that.
Well, that's right. The fact that, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's also funny that our podcast and you have just become associated with green characters.
I don't know how.
Well.
Yeah.
You also have a green. You have a green microphone.
Pop filter, yeah.
I know.
And you wear the green beanie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't normally do like ratings on this part of the show, but if you guys had like a rating for this out of 5,
I'd give it 4.5 out of 5. Okay. 4.5, yeah.
I was gonna give it 5.
Yeah.
Wowies.
And absolutely recommend it. I mean, for someone who like had no idea, like knew kind of the story, but had no expectations, wasn't following this at all. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. I think I would say, like, I want to say like 4, but I think I'd say like 3.5, only because genuinely I was like, what time is it? How long is this movie going to go on? And just knowing like how much stuff was expanded, I was like, come
And
on.
why
dude.
is Peter doing that voice as the
We could have, and I would have loved a 3-hour version of this. Just commit and make it 3 hours and make it one movie.
Mhm.
But it's only 20 minutes more, and clearly the runtime is not stopping people. This made 19 million in previews. So Wednesday, Thursday, it made $19 million. That's crazy.
Does
Crazy.
runtime usually stop people? I mean, I know for myself, but if I want to go see a major movie in the theater, the
Yeah.
runtime's not stopping me.
Well, I think it depends. Like, obviously, like some of those later Marvel movies were
Yeah.
pushing 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But at that point, people were they were on the ride. I don't know how long like the Avatar movies and Mission Impossibles.
Barbie was
Um,
long, wasn't it? Wasn't it 2 hours?
yeah, but like I think 2 hours is pretty standard for a
Oh,
movie
okay.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you put out just a random movie that's not part of like a big
Yeah.
intellectual property and it's not a sequel
Right.
and you're like, hey, come watch my movie. It's 2.5 hours long. That is kind of a bigger,
Yeah.
bigger sell,
Mm-hmm.
And like with the movie, like you mentioned Avengers and stuff, like those movies, I would go to the bathroom during and I wouldn't like feel like I missed anything. But this, it was like limit my water intake because like I'm not getting up
Yeah.
and going to
Yeah.
the bathroom.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did that with Killers of the Flower Moon, the Scorsese picture from last year or the year before. And even though I purposely didn't eat or drink, I still like ran to the bathroom when that movie was over.
Yes.
I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I I think I'm about to have an accident in the hallway of this movie theater here. But yeah. Well, anyway, on that note,
I have one last thing.
absolutely.
Michelle, what would you say? Would you call it Emerald City Scoops? I don't know. What would you call the ice cream store at Emerald City?
Oh, so cute. I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, Emerald
Emerald
City Scoops.
Scoops?
Yes.
Yeah?
Michelle, can
Okay.
you explain what's happening
Yes.
here?
Mike is our ice cream correspondent over at Total Betty Podcast Network. And so he gave us it started with Let's Talk OC, would pair episodes with ice cream flavors. And now on Pretty Little Liars, we have Lucky Leon's Ladle. And he sends an ice cream flavor to complement each episode every week. So
or Ladle if you're
Ladle.
if
Yeah.
you're this 10. Yeah.
Well, no, listen, I think I put that in her head, so that was me doing. Yeah. Isn't it Ladle?
So this week's scoop is Moon Mist, which is an ice cream that's only sold in Atlantic Canada. But it combines banana, grape, and bubblegum. So it's a purple, yellow, and blue. Oh no, it's so good. It's really good. It's really good, Michelle. Okay. It's really good. So why I picked this? Well, bubblegum, obviously Glinda's that bubblegum poppiness. And then the colors, because you got the yellow and blue. And when you mix yellow and blue together, you get green. So it's all fitting there. And a mixture, you're mixing them together. It's perfect. Also, the moon's kind of like, witchy and like, you think of like the moon. So I thought this was a good pairing with this. So yes, I recommend Moon Mist ice cream. There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Wow,
And you got the
thank
flying
you.
monkeys with the banana.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Look at Seth coming in. Yeah.
That's why we keep him around.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
That's it.
So, Mike, where can people find you online?
I'm on the gram. I'm on the Instagram. They can find me at Del_Vasto, and they can see all my Lego collection, which is, pretty much the only thing I really post. And if you like hearing my voice, you can hear me on the Total Betty Podcast Network. Some episodes on there. And that's it. I'm not on the Ticker Talk or the Tick and Talk. And I guess I am on X or Twitter, but I'm not that active. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Michelle,
I mean, you know,
Don't.
we know you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't say where you can find me.
Okay.
But
Michelle
wait, is
wants to
this?
stay in her protective bubble.
No.
But wait, is this?
What?
Don't
a
tell her
mov-
bad things about Wicked.
Is this a movie, schmovie, or film?
This is a movie.
This is a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say a film. Okay, interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have your opinion, of
Yeah.
course. What?
Unless you're Seth and you hate animals.
Seth
That's
does hate
right.
animals.
That's right, I do. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for coming on to talk about Wicked. This is the first new episode I've done in like months, so this was a lot of fun.
You'd never know it.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Music by Anthony Vicora. If you like the show, please subscribe and give us a rating. It really helps us find new friends. Thanks!